summer. You know, as a member of my PTO, I know how hard it is just to give up your night and come to the meetings. And I wish more parents came out and got involved than what we have now. It's only a core group that come that are really, truly interested in their children's education and want to get involved. And that's been me for the last many years. My wife is an educator, but she doesn't get involved in the politics end of it. She wants to see children succeed and learn. And we need a change. It starts at the school committee, and it starts electing a new leader that's going to work for this town and motivate the teachers, motivate the administrators, and give us a good warm feeling in our class and us that we're going to move forward and correct a lot of these problems. You know, the math needs to be changed. The math investigations was the biggest farce in this town, and it tells tonight because when you look at the high school, you know, with the 28% of the kids in the high school in math, it was because they got stuck with the math investigations from day one. And those kids are up there now. We need to come up with some after-school programs for the children. And the late buses, instead of going home at 3:10 or 3:30 at the middle schools, stick around a little bit later so that kids can stay after school and get the help that they really need, and the teachers that want to stick around and do it. You know, so I'm hoping next year, you know, come November, there's a new change, and we have a new leadership come in very quickly. You know, we don't need a nationwide search to do this, and we make some positive changes that are going to affect us, because it affects all of us in our room today. Every one of us. Thank you.
Thank you. I agree that, yes, we need a change. We also need a change, and we need to be wary of some other changes that have to go on. Right now we have 2 principals to hire, one for Garvin and one for my former school. Of course, I'm, you know, very interested in what happens to my former school for obvious reasons, but we have some substitutes in there that can stay there for 90 days. That'll put them well past the election. I would like to see that, because I haven't been really too pleased with some of the other people that have come on board and either have not stayed or have stayed, and I'm not really happy with some of the answers that I have seen come up with at certain meetings, etc. So I think that we have some issues that are going to be even above and beyond Dr. Morell's contract, some other people that are going to be having to be evaluated by a new committee. I agree that we need to look at, in terms of helping students. We have students all over. We have students, I used to say to my parents that we have people who can, you know, buy and sell us all in this school, and we also have kids who have been on public assistance, and their families have been public assistance for a while. That kind of relationship was very, I thought was a very common world. It looked like a real world at my building, but other schools are not like that in this town. I guess that may argue for moving people around a little bit, but I think that one of the things is that if you have a leader and a faculty and a staff that wants to work with the kids, that love to work with kids, that are hired for that reason, I think we go a long way. And I know that certainly the state, with all this extra money that we better get a big portion of, will help us see us into the 21st century and see us, you know, achieve what we want for our kids.
Thanks everybody for coming. I guess that what I would say first is I think there's a lot of momentum in Rhode Island right now, and we really need to sort of catch this wave. We have a very courageous Commissioner of Education, I would argue, who has the needs of students on her mind. We have the funding formula has been passed, and when it's fully phased in, we'll bring another $4 million into Cumberland. And the Race to the Top, which we won in August, and is also going to not only bring money to the state, but it's really going to bring a chance to set up infrastructure that's going to be lasting, including, you know, some very, very serious reforms that I think will benefit students. Again, my focus is on student achievement. That is why I'm in this. That is what I think is the most important piece of the school system. And I'm going to be a really, really loud advocate for that. I do not have all the answers. I am not going to pretend that I do. I have never sat on the school committee before. I know that there are lots of details and minutiae of which I am not aware that I will learn if I win. What I can promise you, though, is that every single decision that I make will be made with, I have this sort of montage of children in my mind, and that is what I think of every time I talk about education, think about it, and make decisions. I am positive that I will not get everything I want, and you guys won't get everything that you want, and I am certainly hopeful that if there is disagreement, which I bet there will be, it'll be healthy debate. But I think that just waking up in this community and deciding that the status quo is not acceptable for our families, for our children, and for our taxpayers. You know, we can do much better. That's been the slogan of the campaign. It's not really very clever, but it's really simple. You know, we can do better, and I think that that is, that's obviously why I'm here, and I appreciate everybody coming. And I guess that's it. And I guess the last thing I would say, too, is bogging down in the past and this blame game, and I'm guilty of it, too, believe me, but I think that if people can try to start moving forward towards solutions and trying to sort of get away from the past and just decide, okay, yeah, that was bad, and now we're going to make it better. It'll help all of us, and I'm guilty of it, but I'm going to work at that, on that as well. Thanks.
So I want to thank you all also for coming. I think the large majority are here because you're parents and you're concerned about your kids, and you've read things in the paper that have made you very concerned. And as parents, we want to be contributors to improving for our children, their educational experience. You know, I have 2 high school kids and I have an elementary kid, and my high schoolers have a much better experience, I know now, than what they had a few years ago. So we do think that there are being improvements made throughout the district, and I think what a lot of the information we're reading about is very negatively driven, and it doesn't really necessarily represent the district as a whole. I think we need to do a much better job communicating to families on the successes and the needs of the district. I think one of the biggest challenges, aside from new leadership, is going to be the fact that the funding formula is going to be coming in to the state, bringing money into the town, but the money is going to be based on our basic plan of education. That's what RIDE's going to fund, and that's what RIDE's going to tell communities that they have to contribute to. It's the plan. It's a basic plan for students. It doesn't support transportation, it doesn't support athletics, and it doesn't support the peripherals. And that's when the town is going to be able to say, we want the peripherals, we want better busing, we want more athletics for kids, we want to have 5 world languages or 10 different arts programs. That's where the town is going to have to work together. And until once we get to that point, we have to start building on the small incremental changes right now to build consensus with the community. Because otherwise, if we just show up and say, well, it supports the BEP and that's all you're going to get, are you really going to be happy? And I don't think anybody's going to be happy. We want the best for our children, and I'm hoping to contribute to that as a school committee member. Thanks.
Hey.
Put the timing down.